Jason was enrolled in Department of Health and Human Services, put on the list, if you will, for residential services when he was just a little guy. And I was told, put him on the list for everything, because you never know when his name's going to come up. And when his name comes up, whether or not he needs services at that particular heartbeat in time, get him. So, ever obedient. No one who knows me would believe that, but I did that. He's been on the list for a long time. But at the same time, I knew that Jason, who can get an actual high school diploma, who can successfully take classes at Metro Community College, and not only pass them, get an A with supports. I knew he was not someone who would thrive in a typical group home environment, and yet I knew he wanted to have some form of life of his own. He wanted to walk in his big brother's footsteps. He wanted to grow up and go away from home and have a life of his own. I spent a lot of time, as most parents of young people with developmental disabilities do, wondering how I was going to pull that rabbit out of the hat. And then I sat down to lunch with Mary Sue David one day, who is a member of St. Mary's Antiochian Orthodox, which is where my sons were raised, the church in which my sons were raised. And she said, "Have you heard of Sheltering Tree?" And I said, "No." And she told me about Shirley McNally and Father Stephen and St. Vincent's and the parents of young people with developmental disabilities who were going to take this on themselves. And I said, "Sign me up." She said, "Don't tell me, tell Shirley." And I did. And that was several years ago, I think. And there's a small piece of you that says, "Oh, don't get your hopes up. Might not happen. It's a huge undertaking. It's something no one in Nebraska has ever done. The wait list is like 2,000 names long." And yet, I remember reading a book that said, the book is wonderful. I recommend it for all of us parents. It's called Changed by a Child. And the little section on hope says, some people talk about false hope, but there's nothing wrong with false hope, and it's much better than no hope. I signed him up as soon as I could. I followed the process closely. I attended the fundraisers. And I think there are lots of parents out there like me who have hope in their hearts that they're going to find something, you know. And if they knew that they could participate in bringing something like this forward, they would do anything, go anywhere, pay any price. And I'm just one of the lucky ones that got in on the ground floor. I think the most important thing is, how does Jason like Sheltering Tree? Because the old saying is, you're only as happy as your unhappiest kid. Jason is absolutely over the moon. He is so proud of his apartment. He is, it's like he's blooming, you know, in front of our eyes, having come from pretty constant supervision at home. His own space, yes, and as much autonomy as we could grant him and keep him safe, yes. But this is a whole new chapter in his life. And he has stepped up. He feels empowered. He feels proud, independent, adult. He doesn't feel like a little kid with me hovering over him anymore. He has the support that he needs and will always need. And he accepts that. But he's pushing boundaries on a daily basis. He has grown exponentially since September 6th, 2014, which is the first day of his residence there. Sheltering Tree for him is a dream come true.